Welcome back to another NXT review with me, Mr. Parkin, on behalf of the British Fist. As per usual, if you have any thoughts on the show or any thoughts on anything pertaining to NXT in general, such as maybe the signing of Kenta from the New Japan Pro Wrestling promotion in Japan, of course, please let me know down in the comment section below. But before I get onto this review, I would just like to introduce you to some new characters, and I'll give you a clue. They're both pretty unknowingly funny. Introducing the Vaudevillians. Those guys remind me of a tag team in NXT. Who is it? Oh, yeah. Oh, of course, the Vaudevillians, who opened up the show with a match against Colin Cassidy and Enzo Amore, the realest guys in the room, S-A-W-F-T, soft. And I guess, to be honest with you, I kind of built this match in my head as like an epic battle between two epic tag teams, and I guess I was kind of disappointed when the Legionnaires come out and gave a distraction that allowed the Vaudevillians to get the win, you know. But I think it's more my fault, really, because I built this one in my head as soon as I saw it as an epic encounter, when really it was just there to continue a storyline and to really get both these tag teams on TV and to get a win for the Vaudevillians, you know. And I'm sitting there thinking, fuck these French dudes. Let's just have the realest guys in the room versus the Vaudevillians in a best out of 5 match series, similar to Beer Money and Motor City Machine Guns, in a massive feud over the #1 contendership to the Ascension's NXT Tag Championships. Who's with me, people? But at least now we have some resemblance of a tag division on NXT. We haven't had that in quite some time. We've got, you know, 2 potential #1 contenders, you know, Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy versus the Vaudevillians. Probably the Vaudevillians just edging that one due to their gimmick alone. So at least, like I said, we have some kind of resemblance of a tag division now, which before was just unheard of. So to help build up the NXT Women's Championship match next week between Charlotte and Summer Rae, they had a video package for a couple of minutes just highlighting the demise of the BFFs. And you know, this is a good thing. You know, you didn't have to have them in the ring or anything. This video package helped play to the storyline that Charlotte and Summer Rae have had, and potentially Sasha Banks may have, concerning the NXT Women's Championship. So it was a good way of getting these girls on the show without them having to be physically wrestling on the show. And these things really do help break up the monotony of the show, which, you know, is really pertaining to a lot of matches. And like I said, these girls will be facing off for the NXT Women's Championship next week. And I think, more than anything, it'll be interesting to see what role Sasha Banks has in this, because it seems like they're going to give her some kind of role in this match. You know, maybe she will even be a deciding factor in this match. She got a victory over Alexa Bliss on this show. And, you know, it'd be interesting, like I said last week, to see, you know, who they're going to make babyface. I mean, it would seem like they would make Charlotte the babyface in this match and Summer Rae the heel, even though I believe Summer Rae is a babyface on WWE TV, Raw and SmackDown. But there you go. But next week, you know, this has a lot of story going into it. It should be a pretty good match for the NXT Women's Championship, even with this whole Sasha Banks thing in there. It does add a lot of intrigue. CJ Parker versus Xavier Woods. The best way I can describe this, it was an okay match which had a really disappointing finish. I never thought I would say or see the day that CJ Parker is more interesting than the Xavier Woods character. You know, it's amazing how much, ever since he's got up to the main roster, how much that Xavier Woods character has just gone, bleh. And how much this CJ Parker character has gone from, like, real crappy gimmick to sort of, you know, getting better, getting a bit more over, and just getting a little bit more entertaining, and just getting more into the gimmick, so to speak. So, like I said, CJ Parker is not my buzzkill for NXT anymore. That may be Bull Dempsey, but we'll see what happens with that going on in the future. Like I said, though, the finish was a little botched. You know, it looked like they were supposed to do a spot where CJ Parker was supposed to hold onto the ropes and get leverage that way, but he couldn't reach the ropes, and it just looked a little bit botched and a little bit awkward. And, you know, he won the match that way. And they tried to make it like it was a cheaty way of winning, but it didn't really come off that way because he never really got to the ropes or couldn't really reach the ropes anyway. But it looks like this feud will be continuing. You know, I'm fine with that. You know, it's another sort of cookie-cutter feud on NXT, mainly to highlight the CJ Parker character, even though I'm still waiting for the vignettes for CJ Parker, where he goes around the country or goes anywhere spouting his, spouting his environmentalism ways and stuff. I'm still waiting for those vignettes to NXT. So as a lot of us have realized by now, Tyler Breeze had some kind of injury and can't really wrestle on TV. So I like how WWE have actually, or NXT I should say, have incorporated Tyler Breeze in backstage segments where they're really only talking about when he's going to cash in his championship. I mean, that is the question going on right now. When is he going to cash in his championship shot? But Tyler Breeze just doesn't really see the rush, and his agent's drawing up the contract, and good things come to those who wait, as a certain Guinness advert once said. I will say this though, did we have to see the same video package we saw a few weeks back about his, MTV video thing he did? Maybe do something a little bit different there other than just the same video package again. But, seeing Tyler Breeze, it helped once again. These backstage segments help so much just to break up the monotony of the show, which mainly is, comprised of maybe 4 or 5 matches. Oh, 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 whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh, oh, whoa. Yeah, anyway, Adam Rose is back on NXT, and thank God, because NXT, it's really where Adam Rose belongs, because it's where people actually appreciate his gimmick. Yes, people that have attended Raw and SmackDown whenever he's been on there, we appreciate the Adam Rose gimmick, which is freaking awesome, 10 out of 10, 5 fucking star. But no, it seems like WWE have really, kind of gone off the Adam Rose gimmick now, and he's back in NXT. Well, as an NXT fan, that's fucking fine with me. Okay, so apparently the story in this segment where Adam Rose faced off with Jason Jordan was that Jason Jordan's tag team partner, Ty Dillinger, was, I guess, injured and was last seen with the Rosebirds, or has run away with the Rosebirds or something. Did I get that right? I don't really know. But, Adam Rose on NXT with his fun-ass gimmick and defeating Jason Jordan, just good to see him back on NXT where he belongs, really feeling like a big deal, like he damn well should. And I'll say this too, I like the Adam Rose gimmick, but let's see more of Jason Jordan in singles action. I really think this guy has the kind of look that I would imagine would be a kind of cert to main event at some point down the line. Whether or not he's got the talent or not, we'll see in due time, but I'd like to see more of Jason Jordan in singles action. I've been wanting to see that for quite some time, ever since he defeated Damian Sandow before he went onto the main roster a good couple of years ago on FCW. I've wanted to see a Jason Jordan singles push. So before the main event, they had this backstage segment between the Vaudevillians and Kalisto, where Vaudevillians were holding up these pieces of paper saying, where's your tag team partner? And it seems like next week we're going to get a tag team match between Kalisto and a partner of his choosing, Sin Cara, versus the Vaudevillians, which, should be another interesting match. It's another tag team in the WWE. You'd imagine it would have to be Sin Cara, seeing as he's just kind of come back down to NXT last week. And, the whole Lucha Libre thing, you would think that that would be the way they would go with Kalisto now, stick him in that tag team again, and maybe at some point down the line, if NXT have an NXT Tag Team Championship tournament for the #1 contendership, they could be in there as one of the sort of bigger tag teams. Okay, so Tyson Kidd versus Sami Zayn was our main event once again on this week's edition of NXT. And I had a couple of issues with this match. Nothing to do with the match itself, but I'll just get into them. It would have come off so much better if we hadn't just seen it last week. Give it a couple of weeks gap between matches, and this match would just, it would feel a lot better for me. I'd just seen it last week, and now I'm seeing it this week, and it's like, I've just seen it 2 weeks in a row, come on, man, come on. Also, next time you do an interview, make it so that Tyson Kidd doesn't say, I bet you don't ask so-and-so the same questions later tonight, when Sami Zayn's interview was before his and earlier on in the night. That doesn't really make much sense, so that was a bit of an issue there, an issue with production and editing, which is just as important really as the action in the ring, in my opinion. These guys always have a good, they always have good matches. These guys have great chemistry. They're both very good technical wrestlers. I just wasn't a massive fan of the finish, and I'll explain why. You had Sami Zayn, who was pretty much in Tyson Kidd's sharpshooter for a good minute or two, and then 30 seconds later, he's beating him with his submission finishing maneuver. I can't remember what it's called now. And I'm just like, you've just gone from the sharpshooter, and then 30 seconds later, you're winning the match. I just had a bit of an issue with that finish. And I just hope It doesn't get to the point in this feud, which has been very good so far. I'm not going to deny that. I just hope it doesn't get to the point where they're just having match. You know, they've kind of established the hate for each other now, and I think they need to start doing a couple of different things, really, not involving Natalya, to try and further this storyline on. But like I said, I had no issues with the match itself other than the finish, and that was kind of a theme on this week's edition of NXT. Like, the finishes just kind of disappointed me in most ways. But like, this was still a decent edition of NXT, in my opinion. Just some of the finishes for some of the match were just a little bit disappointing. Kind of felt like I was watching TNA booking the finishes of their matches, but I'm not going to get into that because I am not watching TNA anymore. I'm focusing purely on NXT. But anyway, let me know what you thought of this show down in the comment section below. They're doing a decent job hyping up feuds and, you know, actually giving us something to look forward to next week in the NXT, you know, Women's Championship. The Vaudevillians versus the Lucha Libre Tag Teams. That's two matches I'm quite looking forward to next week. And they're doing a much better job in actually giving us some storylines and stuff and, you know, making the show not feel so monotonous with just match, which at one point they were doing quite a lot, as Sleg Daddy rightfully pointed out on one of his previous NXT reviews. But anyway, let me know what you thought of this show down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching this show. If you haven't, give me your thoughts on the new Vaudevillain characters as well that you see in the video. I'd quite like to know your thoughts on those. Expect more of those vignettes coming up. They're pretty funny in my opinion. You may not agree, but it's my video, so I do what the fuck I like. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and goodbye.